Hi, everybody. I'm Yael Tamar, CEO and co-founder at SolidBlock. And our mission is to move traditional assets onto Web3. We started by tokenizing real estate. We now have several clients that are tokenizing Metaverse real estate and doing other interesting things there. So I hope to share that with you today.
I'm looking for the panel questions. Don't worry, I'm not checking emails. I apologize.
Sure.
Hello, hello. Oh, sorry. Hi, everyone. My name is Eva. I'm the Chief Growth Officer of the Dfinity Foundation. We are the not-for-profit and R&D organization behind the Internet Computer Protocol, which is an open layer 1 blockchain. Our aim is that we kind of merged, that we kind of provide a real Web3 solution for developers or users that provide the seamless interaction with blockchain. And we believe that actually the blockchain should be the platform and the cloud. So what is also our mission is that we avoid big cloud services like Amazon Web Services, etc., and allow users to interact directly with smart contracts.
Cool, thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Tamar, a crypto investor at Entrée Capital. We manage $1 billion over several funds and verticals, and I'm leading the crypto vertical within the fund. We're investing in all stages from pre-seed to growth, and I'm happy to be here.
Hi everyone, Nimrod Lehavi, founder and CEO of Simplex, recently sold to Nuvei, global payment company. We provide on-ramps and off-ramps. Basically, if it's crypto related and you want to buy it and it's legal, then we allow you.
Perfect. My name is Itai. I'm with MarketAcross. We are a PR and marketing agency. All right, cool. So metaverses is what we're talking about. My first question is, it became a very big buzzword in the past year or two, but it's not a very new concept. So things like Second Life or even games like Grand Theft Auto, or we've seen our kids or whoever has kids have been playing Minecraft for years. Why now? Is this different? Is that a metaverse? Is what we're talking about now different? Why is this such a new concept?
Whoever, it's forever. I can start. Okay, so for me at least, it's not a new concept, but the concept of properly working decentralization actually makes it a metaverse and not just another, EVE Online, World of Warcraft, whatever else. The fact that you are able to, right now still conceptually, bridge between assets that you hold over the blockchain, so it's proofable that you hold it, but it's also decentralized. That's the fact that makes it interesting.
Facebook isn't decentralized. We're going to get there. So that's one concept of metaverse.
Not even close to decentralized.
Yeah. So I think actually that has to do with the name of the panel, right? The reason why the metaverse has become so popular and hot topic right now is really the movement between Web 2.0 to Web 3.0, but more in a commercial sense, right? So in general, the products in the market and the way people buy them today is really, that's where the movement is towards the Web 3. So if you used to buy products in a shop, that was Web 0, right? You walk in, you buy whatever you want, right? Then you kind of went into Web 1, where every single business tried to set up a website, right? And then you couldn't really buy stuff there, but you kind of saw the information, and then you went to the shop and bought it. That was Web 1. Then on Web 2, all of a sudden, there are e-commerce that pops up. And what's even cooler, that's when all these networks, Facebook and the rest, actually started having their own e-commerce solutions, right? And then Shopify and just everything kind of consolidated in the way that where you buy, right? Super convenient. The most convenient way for you to buy. Now, Web 3 is more about kind of the experience. And in general, millennials and people that are younger are all about the connection with the shop, the connection with the producer of the product, and actually you are the product. The kind of things in Web 3 moved Web 2.
The first generation that grew up with having their own brand page. Exactly. A Facebook page is a brand page.
Exactly, right? And in Web 3, that's the metaverse. That's the culmination kind of the experience through which you consume, where you are. Everything can be consumable. The whole experience can be products, services, just the way you sell. And that's why, and brands are noticing it. And that's why Metaverse is so big.
Cool.
Yeah, maybe adding to that, I think one big aspect is also that you can merge the physical world with the digital world. Before it was more a virtual space, a virtual room, but now you can have NFTs or digital twins for like physical goods that can be reflected on the metaverse. I guess that is a major achievement and actually creates an entire new economy. Before we had the internet, and that was connected to our physical economy, or however we call it, and now actually metaverse allows it to create an entire own economy. So internet and physical markets or whatever is directly merged, and I guess that's the big innovation.
So first of all, I agree that the metaverse is a buzzword. Like, it's not a bad word, and it's not a bad thing to have a buzzword in order to push new technologies forward.
What, an NFT-driven Web3 metaverse? That's a buzzword?
Yeah,
No
it
way.
is, yeah. And I would say, instead of consume, I would even take it further to interact. Metaverse is just another stage in the movement from physical to digital. And the idea is, we also, during the COVID, which incentivized all of us to interact more on the online and to work online. And metaverse might be...
I think incentivized is not the... It kind of made us.
Made us,
It didn't give
but...
us a bonus. It's like, you know...
Yes, but the world is going there. I mean, we see it, you know, it's part of the globalization. There are a lot of advantages to work online and to have online experiences. And metaverse is the buzzword that simply says that now it's not just 2D online, it's also 3D online. Because we all saw, you know, what happened with the AR, VR, not revolution, with projects like Google Glasses, right? So it is a buzzword because it's another, you know, I would say another
evolution.
try. Yeah, it's not a revolution. It's an evolution. It's another step in getting into a fully immersive 3D experience that hopefully or hopefully not, we're going to live there.
So, okay, so that's a great segue to the next question. So I feel like the first version of metaverses were all games, you know, and the idea was to just walk around or play a game or just live Second Life. And now we're saying that this is not a game anymore, it's a reality, and we're going to do other things, and we've infused that through Corona. So what are all these things we're going to be doing in the metaverse? What are these functions that are, so it's not just drifting, it's not just playing a game. What are we going to be doing there? Other than spending money. We got that we're going to be buying
everything.
Everything. Yeah.
I
It's a simulation.
I can maybe start with what we have currently on the internet computer. So there is a social space where you can go with 5 friends to an island and play basketball, which is quite cool. Then we also have an IC gallery, it's called. So a gallery where you can obviously show art and buy art and exchange. We do have a lot of interfaces to, like, for example, there is a new Netflix which connects filmmakers directly with the viewers, and they also want to create, like, in order to get the movies, this interface should also be kind of an experience. So actually every service or application that we know can actually be or deliver such an interface. And
by the way, there's restaurants on the blockchain, there's pizzeria chains, there's everything. So.
There's everything, yeah. So I fully agree that everything.
I'm sorry, in the metaverse, not on the blockchain.
I think we should be talking about the metaverses and not the metaverse.
We're going to get there. We're going to
Oh,
get there in a
sorry.
second, don't worry.
Sorry, I should have read the questions. Huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, so basically just like some people like Twitter, some people like Facebook, or maybe nobody likes, you know, certain things anymore. Many companies right now are issuing or launching metaverses for specific reasons. Some are more like walkthrough games, like the ones you mentioned. Some are more for parties or events or music.
Music concerts, I think
Music
that's like a
concerts,
thing.
yeah. So there are various reasons. Actually, 3D and the 3D aspect of it, or the AR, VR is not like fully developed. Most metaverses are running still on 2D, and frankly, there's nothing to do there yet, right? So let's say Decentraland and Sandbox, they're more consumer-oriented ones, I guess. They kind of give you an opportunity to go and, let's say, buy a piece of land. It's very much NFT oriented, like you said, NFT based Web3 economy for that. One scarce object there is land, right? You have a limited number of parcels, so you buy one because you're hoping that they will run out of them soon, and then it's going to go up in value, and you can lease it. So it's kind of mimicking the real estate world in a way, but not really, because you can build a huge building in a small parcel of land, which you can do in the real world, and then you can run any sort of business. I would think about it like as a Facebook page where you can just buy a pixel on it, and your logo is always there, and maybe you're going to buy it next to the face of I don't know.
So you're saying
Snoop Dogg.
it could be a digital representation of a physical business, but it could also be a complete digital business. I see people saying psychologist. They think psychology is something that the metaverse could be amazing for. You could be an avatar, no one knows who you are. You might have a multi-year relationship with a therapist who he doesn't even know who you are as a person. There's a lot of different
I would
use
send
cases.
all the psychopaths to the metaverse.
Yeah, that's a great place.
So I would just add to that. I wanted to give exactly the example of psychologists because I think that, we need to look at the use cases where you need to have a remote physical interaction. You do want to have the in-person touch, but you want to do it in a scalable, global way, and that is by using 3D environments or 2D environments that are going to be 3D one day. But I'll go back to the AR/VR issue because I think it's very important because it wasn't solved yet. It's a new technology that is going to be the major change for the metaverse.
I think it should and will be everything, literally. And I do think that and AR/VR is part of it, but also the next question with regards to the multiple metaverses. No, it's still one metaverse. I mean, you have different social networks, but they're not different internet. So everything at the end will be a very immersive environment.
Bridges from bridges. Everyone will do a layer minus.
Exactly.
1, 2,
So
3.
I don't really care about the current layer and the fact that it's 2D shitty with nothing to do except clicking a button. But the infrastructure itself is exciting, and the fact that over layers upon layers, people will be able to build whatever they want on top of it and whatever is needed. So now it's gaming. I'm guessing just like everything, every level of the internet was built upon porn.
Yeah.
But so probably that as well. But I'm guessing everything will end up being there, stressed by the market and pushed in there. If there are users, there will be buyers.
First of all, just a fun anecdote. Everyone talked about metaverses and Decentraland. So we at the agency actually did Decentraland's second land auction. We quoted them for X amount of money, and then they said, don't you want prime real estate on our, this is 4.5 years ago. Don't you want prime real estate on the strip of our metaverse? And we're like, yeah, digital land, sure, give me the money. And that land today is worth so much. So yeah, a lot of opportunities in those places. Let's talk about 2D, 3D for a second. All these metaverses, that's the next question. If all these experiences are all real-time 3D, don't we need the biggest computing power in the world to do that? And isn't that very not eco-friendly? Like, isn't this whole vision of us living simulated 3D existence have a huge, like, people who shit on Bitcoin for energy reasons, isn't this gonna be insane?
If you work remotely, then you don't drive. You save the environment.
Wow, that's some bleak stuff. Yeah, thank you.
I can continue all day.
Yeah.
It's like in Ready Player One, you see things are burning, it looks like shit, but it's a nice in the metaverse.
But it's a movie.
It's a
Superman
reality
doesn't fly.
movie. Right. So, but in general, I think the technology is improving, and the storage, maybe blockchain cloud storage, will help compress things more. So I think that we're talking more about the use case and the technology decade from now. Like, that's what it seems to me, that reality where we're going to be actually walking into a room, right, and seeing people for real, and smelling, and maybe hopefully not smelling. But and by then, technology is going to improve.
So yeah, I'd love to hear from specifically from you guys, and also in general, I'll make the question a bit bigger. So I see computing as a huge issue. What are the other serious tech hurdles? There's AR, VR. Do we want to be douchebags or not? So there's that whole thing. But what's stopping it, other than us being ready to live a digital, sad life?
So from a blockchain perspective, it really depends on the architecture of the metaverse or the game or whatever it is. I think the major issue or question is where is the backend hosted, if that's on the blockchain or not. If you want users not be able to tamper with the backend, then it should be on a blockchain. Other than that, it can be on your own machine. So most of the things you see right now, the computing is happening on your own machine. And you have a P2P connection to
50,000 people in the same second, in the same concert hall, so I don't have the phasing or whatever, and they want an immersive 3D experience. Isn't that insane computing power?
It is, yes. It's the same that it's already today. And you need a special machine, like the gamers do, obviously. So that's, at the moment, these are the requirements. When you want to put it on a blockchain, or when you look at the recent gaming industry, the major question is how, like, we want to interact with each other. That's why there should not be any latency. If I play basketball and the ball comes 4 seconds after my colleague has thrown it, then it's not really a fun game, right? So I think that is the key question, or that is why it's using so much CPU. And in order to solve that, we now also have, we are discussing if we should create special smart contracts, which we don't distribute entirely, because that's usually you can't say where on what blockchain a smart contract is hosted. But in this particular case, we are thinking of maybe it can be on a special local server, so that the distance from the server to the smart contract isn't as big. That would increase the transaction speed, and therefore, yeah, could solve that particular problem. But it's then again, it's on one server and centralized. So this is a bit the. Yeah.
It sounds like Web 4.0 could solve this problem.
And if you mentioned concerts, so I think that sound, for example, is a huge technical challenge that should be solved in the metaverse. You know, am I going to hear just the person in front of me, or if I'm at a concert, am I going to hear only the band or also all the background noises? Do I want to hear all the background noises? And you can take sound as an example, but all of the senses should be addressed when we think about AR, VR, and 3D technology, because it's not obvious that it's going to be the same experience as the physical world.
You have anything to contribute? No?
I
No.
don't.
Okay.
No, wait. I do think, just a very small point, I don't think that environment preservation or anything else to that fact stood in the way of progress, so it doesn't really.
Yeah, but it's
nobody
a very,
cares.
very big issue. We're talking
It's
about
a big issue because everybody enjoys shitting on Bitcoin because of that, but nobody really cares. It's not stopping anyone. Still, the one, one of the biggest segments is fossil fuel in the market. What, you're going to stop driving your car? 70% of the electricity of an electric car is still fossil fuel based. It's not going to stop the progress. That people will work on stronger machines. People will work on stronger, electricity infrastructure or whatever. It's not going to stop it.
And maybe to add to that, so like the new generation of blockchain, they're way more efficient and actually electricity neutral than like.
I don't think that the blockchain is the biggest issue with the metaverse. It's more all this 3D immersive experiences.
Yeah, processors get better, Moore's law.
Okay.
And like, to give an example, I think one transaction on the internet computer is like 1/5 of a Google search in terms of
Right.
That probably gives some relation. So I think we are really moving towards gathering more efficiency.
So one more question on the tech stack. I think a lot of people are talking about Web3, and I guess the biggest catalyst was the Connect with Wallet. The MetaMask, the Connect with Wallet, kind of seen as one of the bigger drivers of this Web3 revolution. Everyone has their whatever digital identity, wallet, whatever. What are other aha moments that you guys think that once we cross that B2C tech barrier, we're going to see another, leap of adjustment? It could be VR, AR for everyone.
Remove the Connect wallet.
How's that going to be? Wow.
That's the aha moment when we won't have the Connect wallet button, because it doesn't make any sense, to use this kind of button. I think that
you just walk into a mirror. That's how you're going to get to the metaverse.
Yeah, the aha moment will be when we won't speak about the blockchain technology, because it will be seamless and just
like cloud. No one says I have a cloud. Maybe they say the VCs. It's not on the landing page.
And there is no cloud, right?
A button right here.
Just a bunch of servers.
Okay. So it's not going to come from AR, VR, smelling technology, sound? Do you think it's just going to be through better implementations of blockchain and just normalization of the process?
I don't even think that, Roblox is metaverse, Fortnite is metaverse, and my advice to founders, entrepreneurs, when you try to build something in the metaverse industry, if we can already call it an industry, you don't need to think just about Sandbox and Decentraland. You need to think about any kind of metaverse experience, because anyway, once you'll get to the phase where you'll have users, Roblox might be a blockchain-based environment. Like, you don't really know what they're developing now, and you see Spotify, Shopify, Instagram, everyone are going Web3. So the distinction between is it a blockchain-based metaverse or a centralized metaverse, I don't think it's really matter. I think it's going to be
That's our next
solved anyway.
question. Very cool. Yeah.
I think a big aha moment is going to be when we introduce IoT and couple that with the metaverse, because people can interact in their environment, right? I could be in this theater, somebody could be in another theater, and you can actually use different sensors. And I know that in gaming, that's been worked on a lot. But the same thing with your shop. Like, when you have digital representation of your shop in the metaverse, you can actually pick up real stuff. Like, this could be surreal, and it will happen, in my opinion, very soon. And when we merge blockchain, IoT, and what else?
I also think we can't know. If I would have told you a decade ago that QR codes is going to be the biggest activator online, you're going to tell me, that's not going to happen anymore. So a lot of things will just kind of come up.
The QR code also should be reinvented in some way.
Eliminated, not reinvented, but yeah.
And I think since we said it's going to be multiple metaverses, I think also the part of interoperability is going to be super crucial, so that they're somehow connected. And as you mentioned, that it doesn't matter if it's on a blockchain or not, the interface is just seamless. You log in one time, you have the same identity, hopefully like cryptographically
So let's deal with that for a second, and that's kind of, I think, the biggest question. So what metaverse? So there's the company formerly known as Facebook, which is called Meta. Please remember that. That's the main thing we want to do. There's already on the blockchain side, we have two incumbents, which is Decentraland and Sandbox. Only we as an agency, I think, have 30, 40 metaverse clients in the past year or something. So the amount of companies that have been funded in saying we're building metaverse is in the hundreds. Is that necessary? Is that going to work like Nimrod said? Everyone's going to have this little metaverse and then going to be connected? Is it all going to be 2 or 3? Like, what do you think the future is? Just like
one big happy one, or sad one, as you said, but still only one. I mean, at the end of the day, it's going to be dependent on the interoperability, on the security, which is a huge topic. When
you're talking about security of like assets, bridges, all that
everything, you move your life online. I don't want to get hacked. Like, if everything I have is moving online, my assets, if there's physical access to my items, because they're physical or because they're connected, everything is much more scary, because it's like you, at the end of the day, I mean, you manage yourself in a physical space most of the time, and you have an antivirus software for the regular usages, but you don't have anything to protect you right now in crypto. I mean, how many people here have got hacked? Hands? How many people got hacked? Viruses? Nothing. Wow. Amazing.
Viruses at all? Yeah.
No, to start with that, how many people lost crypto money? Okay, so you see, if there was an antivirus, your mom could use the beginning of the metaverses and buy stuff online, but right now, super risky, crazy.
Metaverse vaccination.
I'll answer in a question. Like, I think asking, should we need one metaverse or several metaverses?
No one's asking us anyway, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
So I think it's like almost asking, should we need one country or several countries? And
no, it's one internet or multiple internets.
Yeah, I'm much more on that. So, look, I don't want to kill the vibe of most of the startup people here, but internet culture has shown that there usually is one. There's one Google, and then there's a lot of other ones. There's one Uber and a lot of other stuff. It's not as democracy and open for everyone as possible. Usually there's a very, very big winner. And yes, social networks are a few, but that's like one of the biggest industries in the world. So
I think there's a big difference between Google and internet. Internet, there's one.
A protocol.
Okay, so it's a huge protocol, and I think Metaverse will end up being that, an interoperability protocol between everyone who wants to connect into the Metaverse. It's not going to be like a sub-Metaverse.
Will it be a company?
No.
I
Is
also
Bitcoin a
think
I don't
company?
see Facebook playing around with that, but sure. Let's
Screw that, they can stay out, nobody cares.
okay, so you're saying you think that
It's good, just like Bitcoin.
a decentralized version that isn't Facebook will, in your opinion, come out the stronger hand than a closed garden Facebook is?
Because it will be decentralized. And again, I'm not such a Bitcoin maximalist, but the big thing with Bitcoin is the fact that there is no head. You want to sue the Bitcoin CEO, good luck.
Yeah, and I would like to bring up the topic of DAOs. I mean, the major benefit of Web3 is that you own those kind of whatever it is, if it's a metaverse or if it's any kind of service, online service. So if that is just one big thing, how do you get involved as a token holder?
So that's my issue with DAOs a bit, because everyone's saying this cool thing.
It's like
because
cloud.
Because
It's not really a cloud,
because they
it's just
think
somebody else's computer,
get
so
all-
DAO is just somebody else's voting.
you get all the rights, but you don't have this thing called legal liability. And that's not going to, I personally think, I don't think in the long run you're going to be able to run elaborate metaverses with people on it. Maybe there's rights, not rights. There's adults, children. There's a lot of things can happen there. And then you're saying, oh, it's a DAO. None of us is actually responsible for this. I don't see that being a thing, but
I agree. I think what must happen is some sort of having more legal clarity, but I think sooner or later that will happen. That's my view, because there's so much going on right now.
so we're going for the decentralized. We're gonna beat Facebook. That's what we're saying.
So I'm saying something else. I don't want to rain on the parade of imagine all the people living in one metaverse type of thing that's been prevalent here. But how many people have children? Do you think your children are going to want to hang out in the same metaverse as you?
They don't have a choice. They hang out in the same world as me. They don't like it
try.
sometimes. But
They
they're
try not
teenagers.
to.
They're supposed to.
I mean, it all depends on the audience and what the metaverse got to offer. At the end of the day, it's all about money. It's all about commerce. I don't think people inherently want to live in the metaverse and sleep in the metaverse and eat in the metaverse. People just want entertainment. They want to buy stuff. They want to invest in stuff. Literally, I think that's pretty much the three use cases.
Interact.
Interact. Yeah. You think in real life interaction is not good enough?
Talking about kids, I think they tend to more and more interact.
That's true. Interact. Okay, so entertainment, right? So entertainment/interaction.
Not necessarily the same. Like they prefer to meet their friends over in.
Oh, I think that's going to be
Roblox.
super digital.
Entertainment, interaction, buying, investing, pretty much, right? So whether one metaverse can cater to all of these and have kind of these sub-metaverses, it's one question. Or maybe one company is going to be better at entertainment. Another company, there will be some sort of a metaverse Tinder where people meet each other. There will be some sort of a gaming, and then there will be a commerce. Maybe there will be LinkedIn where people hang out at conferences, right? The question is if there is one company that is so good at all of these things.
No, again, I don't think it's going to be a company. I think it's the internet. It's infrastructure level. Infrastructure level, and then you can have a company, doing Tinder, a company doing Facebook, a company,
You view metaverse more like the protocol, like the
infrastructure protocol
infrastructure
and decentralized. So there is no one winner.
Okay, all right. So let's go. We're kind of starting to wrap up in a bit. Let's talk financial models or whatever. We saw Facebook saying that they're going to be taking 45, 50, that's for now, % of any creator economy cuts or whatever. That might be one of the things that will push people to different places. But I feel like the current version of metaverses we're seeing, decentralized one, the biggest model is let me launch this shitcoin. So that's also not going to be very sustainable. Everyone has their own coin. I'm going to be moving from all of that. So how does this open protocol that we're building right now, does it need a single currency? It's working on, what's the business model?
The more it's open and the more it's inclusive for more and more services, some of your work will move there as well. So you will be rewarded by whatever shitcoin you want, but you can trade it, so you don't really care. As long as it's usable, it's tradable. If it's tradable, you can buy other stuff. You can have a different coin for one for gaming, one for interactions, one for dating, one for.
This sounds like a very complex metaverse with a lot of barriers.
Sherlock.
Yeah, a lot of barriers of entry. So
7-layer protocols for the internet. It's not easy, but that's the way it's built.
So what we distinguish is if you use a token to build something, for computing or if you use it as a value, as a mean of value. So we have the ICP, which is the ticker name of our normal internet computer token, and then you have cycles, as we call them, and that's kind of a stable coin you use for computing. So you can actually buy cycles via ICP. You transfer them, and then you have kind of a wallet with your cycles, and depending on how much you compute, you use your cycles until they're burned, and they're burned afterwards. So that's a bit of a deflationary mechanism. And anything else, any value that you want to have in your whatever it is, application or DApp or Metaverse, you're free to choose. It's like you have a wallet.
They have to choose to build it on your rails. So like there's a decision to, it's only...
But we, for example, we also have like direct Bitcoin integration, or we will have in 2 months, where if you do a Bitcoin transaction, this transaction is particularly done on the Bitcoin blockchain. So it's, yes, it is on our platform, but we try to really also provide the interoperability.
I personally think that the coolest or most, best case that someone can do for a business model is build a Bitcoin-based business model, saying that Bitcoin is really the money of the metaverse, and all these different dApps or whatever businesses are trying to make services and fees in Bitcoin, and then whatever. Like, is that a chance? Maybe Bitcoin will be just the money of the metaverse? And I'm sorry.
So I want to add to the previous question that currently the most popular business model in metaverses is land. It's based on land and on limited supply of land. And limited supply of land is just an imitation of the real world that doesn't really work in an online environment, right? It's like, who decided that Sandbox decided that Sandbox will have a limited supply of land, and same goes for Decentraland. And I think that it's a risky and not sustainable business model, right? Because today those metaverses are private companies, and tomorrow they can decide that the land won't be limited anymore. So I think that you asked about business model. This is the business model today. It's mostly about land or about in-game.
But even people who buy land, they want to be the business owners of the next metaverse. So it's B2B2C. These are people selling lands to people who we believe will build businesses on it, correct? Yeah. It's not the B2C model yet.
It's just advertising.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the second thing is the in-game items trading, which is also, eventually, when we ask those questions about business models, I don't see any difference from the real world. You're going to see the same business models, and you can ask the same about, whether, I don't know, where the speech of the Bank of Israel, should USDC, I don't know what, be a global coin? Probably not. So should one currency be the global currency of all of the metaverse or all the metaverses? Probably not.
I think the general currency or transactional currency conversation is a little outdated. I don't even think it matters, and I personally don't care so much. I think that the fact that we have several is probably better than one. But I think in general, for me, the most important and most interesting question is whether people are going to be, as a result of the metaverse, people are going to be spending more time, more money online and digitally. For example, grocery stores, people still go there for some reason, right? Myself included. Maybe people, when there are grocery stores in the metaverse, you will go shopping for food in the metaverse. So the obvious business models is, move as much as you can for people to do in the metaverse so they can spend the most money on your product. Mimicking businesses from the real world. For example, we have a hotel that will launch, last week we launched the first NFT, Nomo Soho Hotel that launched the first NFT that can be redeemed and for a 3-day or 6-night stay. The metaverse party being thrown at the bar, virtual bar, where you can buy drinks that you can actually drink at the actual bar, where you can reserve a room that you can actually use in the real world. It also reminds me of this concept that came out during Corona, is a Zoom-worthy t-shirt, or a Zoom-worthy shop. You go to a shop, you buy a shirt that looks good on you, but you actually have to put it on. I wonder when Zoom's going to come out with a shirt that you see on the screen, you can actually be naked underneath, right? Everybody's dream, I guess. So things like that. You can actually, things that you can buy in the metaverse that you can use in the real world are a big business right now, and you can use in the digital world.
Yeah, and I think like the tokens, like if we talk about tokens, a token is actually not just like a replica of money. It gives you access to a blockchain or to a service. And I guess that's way more important. That's why I think there should be many tokens depending on where do you want to participate. If you own a certain token, that gives you the right to vote or to be part of this decentralized service or this decentralized application. And therefore, I guess it is a must that like the tokenomics are really set for the different use cases that we see.
I think the most exciting thing for me, at least, is the unexpected business models. I'm guessing it's going to start, just like Tomer said, like with bringing all the limitations from the physical world, you know, scarcity in land, like why would we? I mean, we can have infinite amount of land. Just like with DeFi. DeFi started just by copying things from the regular world, and then it started evolving way beyond to things we couldn't have thought about before, like 2 years before DeFi summer. So I think it's going to be the same.
The scarcity comes from the fact that we have this mentality in the blockchain space that anything we use, anything we buy should go up in value. And I think that's a general defect in the crypto space. And maybe not, it's an opportunistic space. You buy a coin because it goes up. By the way, NFT crash.
So that was going to be my final
more
question.
Luna, though, you have to admit.
No, it was in the script, don't worry. So last question, and I think that, so we all agree that NFTs are a very, very big part of Metaverse. What if, and again, we're seeing, I don't want to say NFTs are dead, not dead, crash, not crash. It was very, very hyped in the past year or two, whatever. If we see a decrease now in the NFT love for certain reasons, that might be even profile pictures or whatever, will that affect Metaverse? Or is Metaverse connected to NFTs and success of it, or could NFTs quote unquote die out a bit and Metaverse still become a big thing?
So
are they connected?
I don't think that NFTs will die. I think that NFT is a pretty decent technology to represent ownership of digital items, and someday once...
So I'm talking about people going to what version of an animal profile picture am I buying right now?
Yeah, but
Not
you know...
NFT as a concept, but just like the fucking apes.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. It's
yeah, but nobody cares.
Small fragment of the metaverse. Nobody cares.
Okay.
And NFTs are awesome, in my opinion. They're just going to move to what they were supposed to be, what they were created to be, which is a representation of an asset. Like, how cool is it that you can actually transfer assets digitally, that you can use your NFT to open doors, services, VIP, anything you want? Like, it's just the fact that it was used opportunistically in the beginning. People are buying because there's hype, because they think that it should go 10x, 20x, 300x. Maybe
so if tomorrow Bored Ape Yacht Club goes to zero, we're still talking Metaverses full on, not connected at all.
My car value decreases every year, and the world is still, going forward. So yeah, items decrease in value. That happens, and it's totally fine.
It's a question of demand and supply, right? So that goes
That's the
back.
question. Will the demand be that big when we don't see opportunity of creating all this value out of digital art representation?
Yeah, I mean, so far we saw apes, and we saw like sometimes really obscure things represented by NFTs. But when we look now at the music space, the movie space, like if you really have artists and they want to kind of like prove that they are the owner or the creator of something. And I mean, this is a huge opportunity, and I guess everyone is really working on that, and everybody will come out with, or will be added to a platform, whatever that's going to be. But so that will be a massive hype. And even now, there are also options that you have, like NFTs for certificates. If it's when it comes to greenwashing, is this tree really planted when you
CO2 certificate.
Exactly, CO2 certificates. So there's so many use cases. I think it's just
I actually asked one of the clients, if your hotel, if you could give somebody unlimited access forever for life, how much would you sell it for? Is it $5 million, $10 million? Imagine you just drop $5 million and you can go and stay anytime you want and use NFT for that. And in the metaverse too.
All right, cool. Anyone else? Final remarks? No? All right, cool. Thank you very much, everyone, and thank you, our panelists.